Imagine this. You're 9 years old, living with your parents and 7 brothers and sisters in a one-room, dirt-floored mud house in a village of 50 families in northern Guatemala. Your 2 older brothers leave to find work in the packing plants of North Carolina. Your father's health fails, and he descends into alcoholism. You're pulled out of first grade to take care of the house full time, cooking, cutting and carrying firewood down from the mountains, hauling water up from the river, watching after your 4 younger siblings and 7 goats. The violence between your parents turns on you, beatings with sticks, a pair of scissors flying through the air that leaves a scar in your skull. At 14, your mother tells you to leave and get married. A man in the village grabs you by the hair and tries to make you his woman. You manage to flee to another village. There, while asleep in the house you work in, the son of the owner comes in at night, covers your mouth, and you escape from a second attempt to rape you. In desperation, you pick up a bottle of pesticide. Your little sister finds you just in time. You have heard that things are easier for women in America and make plans to leave. You buy a pair of sneakers, your first shoes, your walking shoes, and make escape plans. You've never read a map, have no idea how far away the US border is or how you'll get there, but you pack your things and walk across the border alone into Mexico. Within 3 days, you're robbed and pistol whipped by narcos in the mountains of Chiapas. You learn to bribe bus drivers to tell you when the next roadblock is. You ride La Bestia, the beast, the boxcars heading north because the passage is free. Seated atop a boxcar, you're the lone woman among 200 men. You hop another bus filled with people fleeing Central America. The federales stop the bus. Everyone is paralyzed as they sit by the road waiting for the vans to come to send them back. But as she says so eloquently in her book, this is not just her story. It's the story of literally tens of thousands of young people who fled Central America and Mexico, came to the United States by themselves, and were caught at the US border. In the last 4.5 years, according to the reports from immigration on the southern border, 206,000 of these kids were caught and put in detention. Last year alone, 59,000 were.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. And a special thank you for Jean, who was my lawyer, who really helps me, and Kirsten, she was my case worker. Like the people really helps me for get my green card. And thank you for everybody here. And I'm going to special thank you for Leticia and let me see other somebody else. But thank you so much for everything. I'm going to read my reflections. Since I left my home in Guatemala, I have come across many good people on the way who helps me. They gave me a lot of encouragement to continue on. They were like family. They began to change my life. I'm telling my story for them too. Finally, I'm telling my story so that my family in Guatemala knows how important they are to me. I will never forget them. I always miss them. Every day I think about them and how can I help them. By telling my story, I feel at peace. Everything that was on my mind, all of my suffering, and all of my dreams, my destiny, now are kept safe in this book. Thank you so much.
Liliana would like to speak in English, so I'm honoring her wish. And I'm not going to talk about the book. I'm sure you read it, the review in PhillyCAM and many others. What I want to know is more about Liliana. I have a great admiration for her courage. Cannot imagine just doing what she did. You came only speaking Spanish, and now you speak fluent English. You know, how was it to come to a country you don't know the language, you don't know the people, and how you survive?
It was very difficult in the beginning. I feel like very lonely in the beginning, and I say how I'm going to, because when I was in the when they put me in the foster family, I decided that I have to run away. But and then I start to thinking, and I say, but here I can't speak any English, and I have to know speak English. And then I try to run away, but I say I think I can't. Because the language, I was very scared for the language, and I didn't speak anything. And then I say, okay, I'm going to keep here, be strong. And I always help me like being strong, like saw in the mirror, like like saw my face in the mirror. And I say, because when I was in Guatemala, and the last time when I decided, I says I don't want to stay anymore here. I wanna look for a new life or like different life. I remember when one man was like the man who attacked my mom and me when I was in Guatemala. And then I went home, and I remember like we have a mirror, like a little mirror, broke mirror, and I washed my face, and I was very angry, and I says I don't want to stay anymore here. I I remember it's like the very hard time in that moment. I washed my face, and I saw in the mirror, and I say I don't want to stay anymore here. I want to get out of this. And now like that's make me strong, and I say I know it's very hard to get out of this, but I have to go. And when I'm here now, like I will look in the mirror, and I say I like feel like I'm beautiful, and I want to keep going, and I don't want to stop. And like that's make me like more strong. And also for like the languages, like being was very difficult, because when I changed school, like go to Low Marion, I feel very lonely. I remember like I sit in the cafeteria like just myself, because nobody, like everybody have their friend, and I just was sit down there, and I can communicate with other kids. And I still do that, but it's now I say I don't care about that, because I wanna and continue my education, and I was focused more on my English.
Are you afraid of anything? Is there anything in the world that worries you or makes you afraid?
That's very good question. I never be like afraid, and I always like last time I said like I'm gonna be like what thing is afraid me, and I went to it's a jail around here. Is like when it's the Halloween time, you know. Yeah, that's I went there, and I never scared. And then I went to like the roller coaster. I went to like the biggest one in the park, and I never scared. And I said, I don't know what, like something is like very scare me, but I never like afraid of anything. Maybe snake. Snake. I don't like snake. Like I really get scared. But other thing, I'm not scaring anything. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's just so moving. My question is, I would really like to hear you talk a little bit about what the experience is like for you to share your story. I think first to share it with Mark, and then to share it with so many people through the book.
In the beginning, to share my story was very difficult, because that remind me back to Guatemala, and it was very like hard time. And I always I remember when I talk with Mark, and I was cried, and we talk other people. And I remember when talk with my lawyer and my social work and my therapist, I always crying all the time. But now I become more comfortable, and because my goal is to share my story to help other people, other young people. Like I pass and I always like I want to be strong, and that's okay. I put everything in my book. Everything is not in my mind anymore. I wanna keep in the book, and that's make me like strong. Make me strong is to help other kids and to understand like other people how is life of immigrants. That's I think I feel like comfortable now.